Hey everybody, time for another game theory motivational, but talking some smack about the community video. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, silly comment, share, support the channel if you can. If you want, it does help. Liking the video, commenting, sharing it, leave a super chat, whatever. I know there's just not a lot of video game stuff to do. And it's hard to find new tech, but this is what this video is going to be about. So if you want to show any appreciation for the stuff that I've done in games, it does help, and it actually helps me pay for a lot of my medical bills because I'm not doing good. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. But, you know, this is going to be a video talking about that sometimes to find tech, you need to roll it back up like a fruit roll up. And you need to simplify things, right? And this is going to be me talking trash about the community because I'm going to show two examples of where to outdo myself in terms of, again, what I've done in video games tech-wise. I'm already the number one dude. My competition is myself, right? But to outdo myself, instead of getting more complicated, I had to simplify things, right? And I think this really shows that the community and a lot of these tech lords are not that good, right? And I'm going to show two specific examples. We're going to talk about the Hayato stuff and the Kai impossible combo, sort of, even though I've outdone that. But let's say the Hayato stuff. If we were to look at this, right? And I can't believe you can go look at the Marvel Discord. People still, this blows people's brain and they try to talk shit about it, and you know, people still don't want to do this in a real match for some reason. But again, the Hayato thing was, if we watch this, it's going to be one of the comments we're talking about. Well, full screen anywhere, you can get black Hayato basically off any hit. And then if you had the execution, you would go for double black Hayato instant kill. And the Kai combo is actually not the impossible combo. And this is why I talk about simplifying things sometimes actually to get better, right? So if we look at this Kai thing right here, we have this, right? Boom. But the gimmick of this is, what do I do here? Instead of doing hard slash DP, I do a slash DP. Now look at this. More damage than an impossible combo, and yet a fairly simple concept, right? And this is what I want to talk about, these two simple combos here. Both of those look extremely simple, right? And obvious. And isn't it amazing that you think about the Hayato thing, that no one had done that and the game had been out 20 years? Even though it's so simple. This Kai thing, when did Accent Core plus R come out? 2012, maybe, am I correct? I don't remember when I first showed this off. Maybe it was a few years ago or something like that. You had years of the community trying to outdo what I've done with the Kai impossible combo, which people called it because people got button bind and macro and they couldn't believe I could do it by hand, right? And even when people button bind and macro, they can't do it half the time. And I was doing it in real matches, right? But this is an example of a Kai combo that, guess what? I didn't do any dexterity, something that took dexterity to do. Where's my controller? These broken controllers, you know? I had to go swipe my fingers on it, right? This is just using simple sort of fundamental knowledge about the game to actually sort of max the damage. While everyone else was trying to recreate these, although that is executionally demanding, trying to recreate these, you know, let's say dexterity, executionally demanding kind of combos, right? I rolled it back up like a fruit roll up. And I'm like, you know what? Let me take a step back at this game, make it more simple, and how can I outdo myself with something simple, right? I know this has been a long forward, but let's look at examples like this, because if we think about the Hayato thing, right? Basically Hayato, the Hayato combo video, you could say, although I did do a combo videos from here before, but you know, the Hayato combo video, when most people think about, is right when the game came out, people knew you could do this in the corner, right? Plasma field to black Hayato, blah, blah, blah. Now, of course, you know, I did make my combo videos for the character. Maybe it was around 2010 or something like that. And I was doing triple slash loops, you know, micro dash things. And I did do multiple black Hayatos and everything like that. But I hadn't actually done full screen anywhere, theoretically, Hayato kills you now instantly. In a game that has infinites and all this kind of stuff, and you gotta remember, infinites technically in the game, you actually flip out of it, remember? They don't technically kill you. But now Hayato is a character that technically does kill you basically off of any hit because it's not an infinite, right? And to do this, again, I just put in the game. I was bored. Whatever. When did I do this? 2020 maybe it was. I don't remember when I first looked at this. And I'm like, you know what? Let me roll back up. What is some sort of fundamental knowledge about Hayato, right? I'm not doing the micro dash hop slash loops that I showed off. I'm not doing that Sentinel crazy hop slash, the plasma combo sort of infinite thing, or any of those other crazy combos I did. I'm like, let me just roll it back up. What is something simple, right? And I'm like, okay, so we know Dragon Punch to plasma field makes the guy fly super high in the air, right? And I was like, okay, so what if I just do corner, right? And I'm like, let me try dash dash, right? And I'm like, yeah, well, that doesn't work, right? And this is why I say sometimes it's the simple things that are, again, I think it's crazy if you think about it, and I've said this sometimes before, so many of the things that people have said that I've faked in games are actually simple, right? Like maybe the Hayato or maybe the Kai impossible combo, people are saying it's impossible because it takes like dexterity to do. It's you know, it's specific, right? Maybe when I showed off the Ryu and Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the Tiger Knee, infinite, possibilities, stuff like that. To do that, I would press like down, down, Tiger Knee. So I would actually store sort of that momentum down. That is kind of out there, right? And, people still blows their brain, right? People are using tasks to recreate that shit, right? But this is like sort of simple stuff that is like, you know what? Let me roll it back up. If I need to progress the game, let me start over from a blank slate almost, and let me just look at basic properties of moves. And then I was like, you know what? Well, Hayato does have that ninja dash thing. And that moves you very far, right? And I was like, well, wait, well, that would mean, oh shit, I'm in range to now do that. Is that not crazy that you think you have all these tech lords throughout the history of games? And is that not crazy that you think that, I think that's a good example of sometimes people are looking for the complicated thing. Like, oh God, how are we going to outdo the evil Clayton? The evil Clayton that we say faked and hit and hacked everything. He's such a cheater, blah, 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 right? So many of these people are focused on crazy shit to try to outdo me or to try to even recreate the stuff I've done. Again, we show people I've used tasks to even try to recreate stuff I've done. And I'm like, you know what? Time out. Maybe I can outdo myself just by thinking about the game more simply, right? And then I'm like, wait a second, I'm in range to do this. And then, of course, we have boom. And I'm like, oh shit. Well, now Hayato, again, now difficult, but you could do then a double black Hayato to kill. That's very difficult. But even this simple thing, I mean, that's a lot of damage, right? Even this right there, that's a lot of damage. And if you look at the Discord, right? People still, when they post videos of them doing stuff, they don't do this. Or they try to talk shit like, oh, I can't believe evil Clayton, blah, blah, blah. How many years, was it like 2 years in a row that people were still trying to say that this was fake and not real because it blew people's brain? But if you look at it, isn't it just something simple? A community of tech lords, a community of people that use, button binding and macro for everything like that. And again, trying to outdo me. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can outdo myself by just thinking about the game more simply. Maybe something is simple right in front of me, right? Just like an example of the Kai stuff. I'll show an example. Like, how did I even find that, the getting more max damage with Kai? I was just, fooling around. And if you know how Guilty Gear works, when you start comboing the guy gets heavier, right? And, the slash DP shoots the guy high up really in the air. So let's look at something, if I already used an example, like let's do just mashing around with the impossible combo, right? Impossible combo, that link, I know some people, what is Clayton called impossible combo? It's a joke because people said I cheated to do it and it's impossible. And people have been trying to recreate stupid shit like this for years just to try, it's like I'm so far ahead of you guys, it's ridiculous, right? But let's say if we're to do something like this right here, A normal example of when you're playing Kai in the game, you might think, oh, well, then you would run in, maybe do a duck hard slash, then hard slash DP. That's something normal, right? But if we're looking at this, like, you know what? Oh, geez, he's pretty low to the ground. This, if you don't time this right, this might even miss, right? And this is an example of just like rolling the game back, roll it back up like a fruit roll up, look at basic knowledge of the game. And I was like, you know what? Well, wait a second. What if I were to just to do slash DP right there, right? Because normally if we do a slash DP in a combo like this, they would fly too high for the javelin part to hit, right? But I was like, okay, wait a second. If I do this, instead of doing hard slash DP like everyone else has been doing for 10 years, whatever, right? I'm like, well, the guy's heavier. I could just do slash now. Look how much higher the guy is. I now have time to even run in. And now the big fireball hits even later that I could technically do the double big blue kind of crazy, you know, those kind of tech video setups, right? But I'm like, wait, that works. And so then I was like, wait a second. What about characters that normally you can't do, quotation marks can't do, or you would have to manipulate it to do the impossible combo on? And I'm like, wait a second, if that works, roll it back up like a fruit roll up. Maybe that should be the the title of the video. Let me simplify things, right? And I'm like, okay, so what if I were to do this? That's normal, right? But now here, normally you would see someone do, if they're going to go for something, they might just do forward hard slash the kick, right? If they're that far away. But again, this is executionally demanding, but run in fast enough, right? Then you might be, they would do hard slash DP, right? But hard slash DP would only allow you to do just the forward hard slash. And I'm like, but wait, if I do slash DP, maximum delay, right? And I'm like, wait, because the guy's heavier, maximum delay now hits. Now I can come in, that's at 220. Oh shit. I've just raised Kai's max damage by like 27 points or something, whatever it might be, you know, whatever it might be, right? And I did it doing an impossible combo. I did it on a character that you don't do impossible combo. Isn't that something crazy? And that's what the kind of like, I know this has been a long forward, but these are examples of sometimes when you're trying to progress a game, you need to step back and look where you came from. Start with a fresh sheet of paper. What are the basic knowledges of this game I know, right? And I think these are good examples. I know people are like, no, Clayton, we know you must secretly be practicing these games. Oh, you're evil, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? But isn't that crazy that the example of the Hayato thing is a game that 20 years, no one had like showed that Hayato could kill you off anything anywhere on the screen, basically. And just looking at the game through a fresh scope, a blank sheet of paper, what's basic knowledge I know about this? Something simple. People tried to say it was, well, how many times did I show you? I'm like messaging Clockwork, messaging not Mike Boy. I'm messaging like Mike Z, all these kind of people, video, you know, talking to videos like, that can't be real. No, you got to do that. Another, yeah, you know, this can't be real. Like, I can't believe no one ever did this. Well, this is real? Years, people are like, no, you must not have rolling. No, it can't be real. It's something simple. Kai thing. Years of people trying to recreate what I've done with the impossible combo. And guess what? I've already moved away from the impossible combo. I posted this, years ago now, whatever it was. And guess what? There's no impossible combo. And you know, all this was, although this is executionally demanding, right? It's like, you know what? Instead of doing hard slash DP, since the guy is heavy, now slash DP will work. Isn't that crazy? I think that just goes to show you how fraudulicious the community is, right? These people that have devoted their lives to games, right? Nothing but video games, right? Always trying to outdo the stuff I've done, despite the fact they practice. They have it's crazy when I look at my haters, how many hours they have in video games. And I go months at a time without playing games. Was I talking about Fightcade? It's been years since I played. It's been years. I think it's been over 3 years since I've even played Guilty Gear versus anybody, right? People tell me, oh my God, I only have 10,000 matches right now. I don't play. I haven't played in years. People dedicate their lives to this shit, dude. Trying to recreate the stuff I've done. And guess what? You didn't even need impossible combo to outdo me. You needed something simple. Not that impossible combo isn't good, because if you're mid-screen, of course, then, that's still a more optimal thing to do. And of course, it has its burst safe properties, right? More so. But again, these are examples of that sometimes to progress a game, all you need is something simple, right? And again, it just shows you like how inadequate, how incompetent the tech community is for video games, that they have been absolutely destroyed by me, and I barely play games whatsoever, Anyway, if you like the video, like, sub, the comment, share, support the channel if you can. I appreciate it. Thanks. The end.